Hey, well, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you all for being here today. I'm grateful to the alderperson of this ward, 22nd Ward, Alderman Rodriguez, and to really a collection and a body of individuals that really imbibe the true spirit of Chicago, where they are collaborating to respond to this need. You know, it's unfortunate that we have politicians that are using the lives of individuals as a way to score some political point with a certain segment of the population in this country. It's wicked, it's unconscionable, but you know, again, as you all know, the city of Chicago is coming together to make sure that the people who wish to find real comfort here in the city of Chicago, that we provide that. Now, I'm here today because I needed to see it firsthand, and over the course of this transition, I've been briefed on a regular basis, and it is clear that police stations and respite centers, that's not the goal. And so we have to make sure that the work that is being done here, that work is done with the true spirit of Chicago, right? Where the philanthropic communities, our local elected leaders, our community-based organizations, our public facilities are all working hand in hand to make sure that these families who have travailed through very horrific conditions, that when they arrive here, that the city of Chicago and the people of Chicago, we're going to be here for these families. Thank you. Yeah.
The Budget Committee last week passed this $51 million in surplus funding to help deal with this crisis only through the end of June. How will you continue to pay for this, and what are plans? Are there any new shelters or respite sites identified right now that we don't know about yet?
Well, I mean, you know, first things first, we have to make sure that the city council does its part. As you all know, I'm not a dictator, and it passed out of committee, but we're going to do the work to make sure that those resources are there. Look, I was in Washington, D.C. last week, having this very conversation, had very effective, meaningful conversations with our two senators, as well as our congressional delegation. You know, took this all the way to the White House. Everyone recognizes that the city of Chicago has been a real model and an example of how we treat people, and working at every single level of government, the county, the state, and the federal level for resources. That's going to be all of our collective work.
We'll take a few more questions.
In one of your executive orders, you created a position for a deputy mayor of migrant, refugee, immigration, or immigrant rights. When will you name that person, and what specifically will be the initial job of that deputy mayor once that person is named?
Yeah, well, we're going through. Well, thank you for the recognition. Look, I mentioned this throughout my entire candidacy and throughout the transition. I am committed to making sure that there's real leadership in the office of the mayor to provide the type of support so that we have a real plan in place. Now, the timing on this, of course, as soon as possible, but we have to go through an entire vetting process to make sure that we have the right person, the right fit. You know, as far as the objective and the goal of this particular deputy mayor, it's going to be to bring the government and the community closer together. That's also going to entail making sure that the resources that we have not tapped into, this person will be responsible with a team of individuals to make sure that we're tapping into those resources. Listen, when families arrive here in the city of Chicago, they have multiple needs. We're talking about their health, their mental health, housing, education, and so our administration will aggressively go after the resources that are needed to make sure that the city of Chicago is a welcoming place. Yes?
Do you have to wait for the resources and wait for action from city council to get some of these people out of park districts and police stations? I mean,
That process is happening now. So how about we do this? The individuals who've been organizing and helping us pull this together, I'll let the alderman speak to that. But no, it's not a waiting process, but you want to walk her through just when they come in and where they go?
Well, I mean, just in terms of a time frame on what you're giving of how long these migrants can stay at police stations and park districts.
Well, look, it's not the goal, right? I mean, I understand your question. What I'm saying is that there's an entire collection of people here that are taking families, whether it's from the police station or when they show up here, onto a pathway of housing. New Life Christian, where you at, brother? Yeah, come on, man. Because this is what I mean. This is the spirit of the city of Chicago now. It's not just one person that's responsible to build the city of Chicago and bring us together. So you want to talk about you being the last stop, hopefully moving the pathway to sustainability?
So real quick, Matt DiMatteo, Executive Director of New Life Centers. So partnership of IDHS, DFSS, the city, IDA, Catholic Charities. We have a key kind of decompression strategy. So Catholic Charities is finding apartments for these families. New Life, we're in charge of really placing over 1,400 people in the next few weeks and then getting them settled into new apartments. So my team today alone placed 10 families in new apartments. And so we're excited to be able to, as we kind of on the back side of things, decompress some open spaces, then the front door will start to open up spaces for families to be able to walk with them. So we're calling it new vecinos. These are new neighbors. These are family members local to our community. We've been running Little League here for 23 years. Guess what? They're going to be able to come in and play baseball this weekend. And so we want to love people, walk with them, connect them to services, and say you're welcome in Chicago, and how do we better any of the communities that they land in. So,
what do you say to people in other neighborhoods that feel that they can't handle more people, and also who worry that all of the things that Chicago is doing for migrants is also something that they need in their own neighborhood?
Yeah, thank you for that. Look, we can do both. And I am committed, and I believe there's an entire, in fact, I'm confident that there's an entire coalition of individuals that are committed to having these conversations in, let's just name it, in black communities in particular, right? Look, it's no secret that the black community in this city has suffered under austerity budgets that have caused true economic despair. And we are in a position now to bring communities together. And we have to do both. We have to make sure that we take care of our residents and our family members who are here, while also making sure that families that wish to call the city of Chicago their home, that they're serviced as well. And so I'm very confident that through the collective spirit, as you all heard, the soul of Chicago is well alive. Thank you all very much. I think
as far as next steps, you know, you're trying to figure some of those out. What consideration are you giving to the National Guard, which was in Mayor Lightfoot's executive order? Is that something you're thinking and talking about? And what would that look like?
Well, whenever you're dealing with the National Guard, you have to be clear about, you know, what their mission is, right? You also have to be thoughtful about how long and how much it's going to cost, right? So these are considerations that before any decision is made, that has to be determined.
I'll briefly say something.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, everybody.
Go ahead.
Sure, just very briefly, before we move on, I just want to recognize the folks that are behind me. They're leaders of nonprofit organizations. They're volunteers at police stations who've been out there on the front lines helping people out. I've seen firsthand an 8-month-old, a 3-year-old child with a mother who's 8 months pregnant sleeping on a police floor. That is unconscionable. It's a humanitarian crisis. And I want to thank all of these folks who have come together. I want to thank the city folks who have come together to create some sense of community for folks. Brevemente español, tenemos aquí atrás luchadores en nuestra comunidad, gente que están luchando por nuestra comunidad, voluntarios en los distritos de policías, tenemos gente de nuestra comunidad tratando de ayudar a nuestros hermanos, queridos hermanos inmigrantes que vienen a este país por oportunidad, con los abrazos abiertos y corazones abiertos. Gracias al alcalde Johnson por estar con nosotros y seguimos adelante. Gracias. Sure. You guys good?
Let's end the questions.
Okay. I'll do one-on-ones if you want. Okay. That's okay. But real briefly, there is the max count here, I believe, is between 150 and 200. But right now, there's a little bit under that, and yeah, that's kind of where we're at right now. Yeah. Pardon me?
Are you at capacity? Here, at capacity.
We are not at capacity currently. Yeah, not at current. Thank you.